Hello, 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 and happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Paperboy. It is Nicholas. This week we are talking about toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity is a huge problem in both the transgender community and in the world. Um, Now, toxic masculinity is essentially a perpetuation of traits that are commonly viewed as masculine, but they're not actually masculine at all. They're simply traits of being an asshole. So these can include violence, hyperaggression, over-sexualization of women, or sexualization of women, I should say, not over-sexualization, misogyny, stuff like that. The prime example of toxic masculinity would be the lovely leader of the United States right now. I'm not going to go into that too much because that is a video for another day and another channel. But that is what toxic masculinity looks like. Now, I think that toxic masculinity can be a huge problem in the transgender community specifically. Not because of hormones. I think that is a giant myth. Hormones do not turn you into an asshole. Hormones do not make you violent. Hormones do not make you over aggressive. Now, if you find that this stuff is happening to you, it is possible that you are not on the correct dosage of hormones, and you should be working with your doctor and counselor with this. Where I think that toxic masculinity really stems from in the transgender community is, a lot of us, we're socialized as women. I should say in the trans men community, not in the, that's the community that I'm speaking directly towards. So I think trans men specifically are, socialized as women, as females, and when they realize that they're transgender or they start transitioning, it can be incredibly frustrating to not be viewed as the gender that you identify as. And so I think that there is a huge tendency to overcompensate for this and grab onto any traits that you view as masculine, such as violence, aggression, sexualization of women, because that's how we see other guys act. Not all men, but some men, and especially with the leader of our country right now. That's the prime example. And when we see that, and start to transition, I think that it's very common to think that that's how we need to act if we want to be viewed as a male, which is all complete bullshit, and it's not true at all. But, people get frustrated with being misgendered and a whole bunch of other stuff that comes with being socialized as female. And I get that, I understand that, but sometimes it takes a large amount of self-reflection and somebody pointing it out to you that you are even acting this way. I think that a lot of times people don't even realize that they are acting like this and grabbing onto toxic masculinity. Even I myself, when I first started transitioning, for the first probably 6 months, I was very frustrated because I was, not being gendered correctly ever. And, I grabbed onto some of these traits myself. I think that I started to become quite a bit aggressive. It took some really good friends of mine to sit down and they were also trans men, so they were able to kind of identify with it. And they sat down and talked to me, and I didn't even realize that I was being this way. I was just trying to be gendered appropriately. But had a couple talks with some really good friends, and I did a fair amount of self-reflection and research, and I realized that, I was embodying a lot of these traits that I actually did not value. I did not like these traits in other people. I didn't want to be like that either. So, I really did a lot of self-reflection, and I try to catch myself on this all the time. I think that I'm quite a bit better. I don't think that I do it nearly as often anymore, but it's still there, and I think that the biggest key is to really maintain a self-awareness on this, and when somebody calls you out for acting like this, I think it's really important to know that they're not just trying to be an asshole, they're trying to stop you from being an asshole. Um, Sometimes it happens in a nice way, and sometimes it doesn't happen in a nice way. But, if something needs to be said, you should listen to it. And, I think that that's the only way that we're going to stop this toxic masculinity is it through a massive amount of self-reflection and really digging deep and trying to change these traits within our own selves. And also, we have a huge responsibility to also call out other, both trans men and men, anybody that you see that is embodying these traits. Call them out on it. You don't have to be a dick about it. You can be nice about it, but it's very, very important to that they know that they are doing this, because if I'm being an asshole, I want my friend to tell me because I don't want to be an asshole. And so I think that is a big responsibility that we all have, is to kind of keep each other in check as well. Okay, so I think that is enough rambling for this video. I hope that you have gotten something out of it, and I will see you next Thursday. Have a good week.